44306 is the zip code.
We're on Inman Street in Akron, Ohio. And this is August the 27th, 2003. And we're here with the four Palumbo sisters. In order of seniority, Anna, Dina, Hilda, and Irene.
Gilda.
And we're going to ask a few questions today, and hopefully this will be for the greater edification of the larger Palumbo family. Anna, you get to go first.
Oh boy.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Giuliano, Italy in 1914, many moons ago. And we came to this country in 1921. Yeah. We arrived in Akron. Well, actually, we arrived in New York. And there we stood.
So, you're in New York City and they just stole your luggage.
Does anybody need to take some medication before we start?
Well, have to go to the That's about all I remember is they stole, I was
So you wanted
little.
to get closer?
Well, we were standing there. Mom had her suitcase there, and all of a sudden it disappeared. So someone stole it.
You don't have to get that close.
Okay. So Mom was sick about it. They stole her shawl and all the things that she wanted from Italy. Well, we just turned around and they were gone. That fast. So that was not a very good beginning here in America. So other than that, I don't remember much else.
From Italy? Nick.
When did you get married?
Nick. Nick. What happened to Nick when he was on
and
the
then
boat?
Nick, he was swinging in there on the boat, and all of a sudden, he cracked his head. He had a great big gap in his head, and they weren't going to let us on, to go on to New York on account of his head. But fortunately, they changed their mind, and I guess they fixed it and let him go on ahead. So here we are. And oh, dear.
That's too funny. That's cute. That's a good story.
Okay, what school did you go to?
When you came to
But then one thing I can remember is when my father met us at the station there. Dad was walking and I'm running, and I was only about 5 or 6 years old.
Okay.
Well, I was running toward Dad, walking, because I hadn't seen him in about 5 or 6 years.
I know.
He had been to Italy, and we hadn't seen him since Dina was born. So he was all happy to see all his family and children. And, well, that's it for New York City.
Where did you go to school?
Oh, then we went back home to we went home to Cole Avenue. And the first school I attended was Mickey Bright School. I couldn't speak a word of English. I felt kind of stupid, because I couldn't understand the language. We had only been here a few months, and school started in September, so no capiche. I didn't understand them, they didn't understand me, but I was one of these kids I wasn't a very shy kid. My brother was, but I wasn't. But I eventually caught on to the language, and the teachers, they kind of were nice to us. We made the best of it. Went to Mickey Bright School, was our first school. I'll never forget, it was right across from Moridi's store, the Italian store. And, but those were my memories of, one of the best memories we had. When we first came to Italy, we lived on Stanton Avenue, and my father had a Victrola. Hey, for us, we had never heard of a Victrola. So my dad played this song called Dardanella. I'll never forget it as long as I live. I always remember Dardanella. So he played that song over and over and over and over again.
Was it one of those that you had to crank it?
Yeah, we had to crank the the Victrola because
How did
that's
it
the
go?
only one they had.
Can you sing
Put the
something?
record on there.
How did the song go?
What?
The song, how did it go?
Dardanella. Oh my gosh, I can't. It's just a song.
Just a song.
A song I can't remember the words or anything, but I remember the name of the song, Dardanella. I'll always remember that song.
High school?
Do you remember it?
You go to high school?
Never heard of it.
Oh, then we moved. Where did we move to? Oh, we lived on Wilbur Avenue, in 2 houses on Wilbur Avenue. 1184, I'll never forget the address, and 1235 Wilbur. There's 2 different houses. I'll always remember those numbers, the addresses. And then after that, we went to Garfield. Did I go to Garfield then?
Went to Glover first.
Then we moved up here.
You went to Glover first.
I went to Glover. Glover was my first. No, I went to the country school.
That's right.
We had to go to more school. We were not in the city district when we lived here. We were out of the city district, so we had to go to walk to Arlington, take the bus, and go up here to Waterloo Road to the country schools.
Oh, my.
But that was kind of fun. We had swings. Then we went to Lakeview School up here on
I remember that.
South Main Street. Oh, we thought we were somebody else because it was a brand new school, beautiful. Built in 1925, I believe it was.
Wow.
So we went there. And from there on, we moved to Bertha, and then we went to Glover. Well, I started Glover in the 6th grade, so from then on and from there on to Garfield. And those are my days.
Those are
But they were good, happy days, though.
That's right.
Then I can remember one incident I'll never forget as long as I live. My brother had a crystal set, and he hooked the crystal set to our house.
remember that.
Well, the lightning struck the tree, and it followed the wire to the house, and it hit our meter. It shattered the meter, shattered my head, the meter, and all that fell on my feet. It was a horrible. It was a horrible experience, and I
What
was
did
only
we all
about
do?
13, 14.
You remember what we all ran outside and left my brother Phil on the
We
couch?
left Phil on the couch. We all ran.
He
We
was
ran
only
next
3
door.
years old. We all
to
ran
our-
outside.
Combata Dominic. We were scared. I was scared to death. I was standing at the window when the lightning struck. I had never seen so many colors in all my life. There's every color of the rainbow. You know, the lightning hit so fast it hit that meter. It hit the tree, then it followed that wire to the crystal set, and then naturally hit the meter on the porch. We had the meter. We didn't have a basement then. The meter, the electric unit was on the porch, and that thing was shattered in a million pieces. All the things inside was shattered, you know. It was a scary, scary day. Mom was working, and that's the day when she come home and found that out. She said, that's the last day I had to go to work. No more work. So she quit her job at Firestone, and that was it
You
for Mom.
survived.
Yeah, we survived.
Did you take care of your sisters?
Who?
You.
Of course I did.
What'd you do?
What I did take? Well, I fed them, and
Did you bake bread?
I baked bread. I washed clothes by hand. Yeah. Fish frita bacala. Oh, I remember those days well. But oh yeah. And Combata Dominic, he was our very dear combatant. He always helped us out in things. We went every time we needed help. We ran over there. And of course, Combata Delina, she's like our mother,
Yeah.
so she helped us
My
out
dad's
too.
parents.
We used to go there and wash clothes, and Mom says, no more of this. I'm going to buy a washing machine, then I'll have my own washing machine. And that's what happened. She bought her own washer and a gas stove, because we had a coal stove. We lighted with the wood.
Imagine.
How about the outhouse?
Oh, the outhouse.
We'll talk about that.
Oh, the outhouse. We had the pichaduro. I don't know. You don't know what that means, but it was a thunder mug.
Yeah, take our turns into.
And I would never empty that thing. 'Cause
I was waiting to see if you were going to tell the truth.
And, well, I wouldn't lie. Nick used to
Our
empty it.
sweet Nick would
My
smile
sweet brother
and
Nick.
empty the pot because she didn't want to do it.
Well, I was scared. I was scared to walk to the back house.
You were scared my foot.
Oh, shut up, Dina. Well, wasn't I scared? It was dark out there.
You emptied the pot in the morning, not at
Well,
night.
I know, but I didn't want to.
That was your excuse.
Biatch.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So those were some of the memories of our childhood
How did you
days.
meet Uncle Neil?
Oh, he was a neighbor. He lived catty corner from us. I hated him. I didn't like him at all because I thought he was a smart ass. Excuse my language. You know, he's about 5 years older than me, and he went to 3Cs. He thought he was, I don't know who he thought he was. You know, played the banjo, and he was in all these, you know, he played for these dances. He always wanted me to go, and I says, well, you know my father won't let me go to these dances. You know better than that. Why ask me? But that's, then later on when he went to the 3Cs, he started writing letters, and somehow we fell in love, I guess. I don't know.
Do your letters.
And here we are,
When,
63 years later. Of course, he's gone now, but we had a good marriage. He liked me, I liked him.
I hope so.
Hope so.
When were you married?
1938. Yeah, a long time ago. It would have been about 64 years now, had he lived. But we were married quite a while. Almost 40 years we were married before he died. Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, sure is.
So,
Why don't we move on to Dina? Tell a little bit about when you were born and where you were born, and tell us your real name.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah. Why are you moving this?
That's good. That's a good distance.
Well, this is, well, first of all, this is Clementine Carmela Palumbo Cocozo. But everybody knows me as Dina because I was named after my Uncle Clement, who served in World War I, and he drowned in the Mediterranean Sea, and I was born on June 16th, 1920, shortly after that happened to him, so I was named after Uncle Clement, so consequently Clementine. But anyhow, born in 1920, and my papa was not in Italy when I was born. He was gone for 5.5 years, came home, then when he came back, left Mama pregnant, and went back to America to earn money he could send for us. So we left 1921 to come to America with Ann and Nick. And I have no really memories of my childhood till I have maybe 5, 6 maybe after that. So my earliest memories are living at 1044 Bertha Avenue with this happy family that we had. And I have to interject here, you know, I always tell my grandkids, you know, we may have been poor in material things, but we were rich in so many other things. Love of our parents and family. Well, anyhow, we lived there till I was 16. And from there we moved to North Hill. And I graduated from North High School in 1938. Went to Garfield for 2 years, North High for 2. In 1941, I have to say, this is how I met Uncle Joe. My friend Josephine and I worked at St. Thomas Hospital, and we were supposed to go on vacation. And Pop was so interested in American history and so forth, and we were going to go to Cleveland to visit her cousin. And Pop said to me, why are you going to go to Cleveland? Why don't you go see Washington, D.C.? Now remember, I'm 21 years old, and I never thought my father would let me go to Washington, D.C. And I said, really, Pop? Can I go to? We said, sure. So I talked to my friend Josephine, and she got permission from her father. True story. We went to Washington, D.C. with $30.
Wow. Well, probably then. Oh, I forgot.
$30.
Probably
And
then
so-
was a lot of money.
On the way, so we went there, and boy, I got to see all the sights. Boy, when I went to see the Statue of Liberty, just it was an experience I'll never
Did
forget.
you go to Ellis Island?
Yeah. Well, no. In 1941, no, because it was wartime. Did not go to, I'm sorry, did not go to Statue of Liberty that time either. When I went to Washington the second time, everything was closed. Couldn't even get it near the White House because of the war. It was 1941. And, because this was in June. Oh, I got to tell the story though, just a cotton picking minute. The night before we left for Washington, Summit Beach Park, where all the big bands came to play. Hilda's nodding her head because she remembers we went to see Glenn Miller. Oh man, Glenn Miller, holy cow. It was so crowded, and I had a pair of brand new Spectator pumps. And I was dancing, some of my feet were killing me. So we're all standing in front of the bandstand, which the kids did at that time. No, you danced over on the side. And I had these shoes, and he started playing In the Mood. Well, I went bonkers. I threw my shoes up in the air. Anyhow, then the next day we left for Washington. Then on the way back, quickly, we stopped in Cleveland to see, quote, her cousins, and that's how I met Joe. And, well, he left his jacket. He took us home that day. He left his jacket at my house on Butler, so on purpose. Anyhow, so I went with him for about a year, and we were married. Oh boy, we were married September the 26th, 1942, and the war was going full blast, and so quickly Joey, my son Joe, was born in 43, and he was drafted, and so I was an Army wife, so I went down to Camp Blanding, lived with him for a year and a half.
Where was that?
Camp Blanding in Florida. And we were there for a year and a half. Then the war was over, and we came home. Well, do you want me to go on more?
Well, he never went overseas?
No, he was lucky. He was scheduled to go to Anzio. And they went on a 20-mile hike, and he had a bum knee. And fortunately, that knee swelled up like a balloon. So he was put in the hospital, and his group, his company went to Anzio. He would have been on, and we knew two guys that got it the very first day. Yeah,
Wow.
the war years were tough. But when we all came home, I have to tell this story. Now I don't know whether I should do it now or not, but I got to tell it. After the war was over, Mom had us all, excuse me.
It's okay.
So Mom had us all over for dinner, okay? And Pop was strict with us when we were young. We weren't allowed to date, have guys pick us up and go out. And Aunt Lucy, my sister Lou, was one of the first that kind of crawled on Papa's lap and said, "Gee, Pa, why can't we date guys,
Remember
If we want to be bad, we could be bad in the daytime. We don't have to wait till nighttime to be bad, because that was your mom that did it." So he kind of eased up on the rules. This was like 1940, maybe 38. Anyhow, when the war was over, and he was tough on Ann and Nick, my brother Nick was refused to go to a high school dance. My father wouldn't let him go. And so after the war was over, we were all home for dinner. And I just never will forget this. As long as I live, my pop had this glass of wine in his hand, and he asked us all for forgiveness for being so hard on us, because he said, "I didn't know the other way." And that took a big man to do that. And my brother Nick stood and took a glass of wine, and he toasted my dad, and he said, "Pop, you didn't go with patches on your clothes for nothing. You worked hard to clothe us and feed us, and I hope I can be as good of a father as you have been." And later one time, they were under the grape arbor talking, and Papa said to Nick, you ever forgive me for doing that?" He still remembered refusing him to go to that dance, because Nick was very popular, and he won the Manhood Cup. You knew that, didn't you?
Most likely to succeed or something.
Yes, sir.
First one.
And he won the Manhood Cup, and I remember when Pop said no, he couldn't go, I saw it. He went and sat on the step with his head down like that, and he was crying, and Mom's sitting next to him thinking, "Oh, Lord." But anyhow, Dick said, "Pop, that's the way things were then, so, you forget it and go on." But anyhow, it's been a good life, and thank you, Mom and Pop, for all the love.
Okay,
No, now it's my turn.
we're going to talk to
Well, my real name is Gilda Palumbo Ursetti. Okay? Ask me the questions.
When and where were you born?
Oh, I was born in Akron on Wilbur Avenue in 1922. I don't have an exciting life like she did.
When were you born? What's your date, your birthday?
I just said, February 26, 1922.
Very shy kid.
Very shy. I was shy. Just sit in my little corner and suck my thumb, and I was happy with the world. And then my dad did go to stop with the thumb. I was a real thumb sucker till I was 8 years old. And my dad, he was kind of nasty in a way. He put some red hot pepper on this bandage and put it around my hand to stop me from sucking my thumb. But let me tell you something, I never burned so bad in my life. So I think that stopped the thumb sucking. And but then my childhood was, I have no complaints about my childhood. It was fun.
Where'd you go to school?
Glover. And then I can remember I was sitting downstairs in Mom's room on Butler. And we couldn't wait till we got done eating because we were going to go across the street and play baseball.
Mm.
Yeah, we used to go to that field.
Columbus
Hall.
Field.
At Columbus, not Columbus Field, across the,
Yeah.
She talked about Bertha Avenue.
Well, she said Butler.
I said Butler.
Well, we didn't go across the street and play baseball. It was on Bertha, Hilda. Remember the across the street?
We also played baseball on
He
Columbus
played baseball
Field.
over there.
On Butler?
Yeah.
On Butler, too.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, then I don't remember that.
well, now what else you want to know?
When did you graduate from high school?
I didn't. I don't like to get into that, but I didn't.
Tell them why.
I didn't graduate. I had a thing about clothes, which is so ridiculous. Because I remember these girls and going to grade school had these beautiful Angora sweaters and skirts, and I didn't have many clothes, as we all know. And I thought, well, by golly, someday I'm going to dress like this one girl. I remember her. I can't remember her name now. But so what I do, when I reached 16, I quit school. I wanted to get a job, which I did. During the war, I worked at Firestone. I worked at St. Thomas for a while.
Mhm.
Then I went to Firestone. And I got to keep my own money. I paid my $5 a week. That was room and board for my mom. Now, hey, I remember Lucy never gave nothing. Come on. I gave $5. That's right, your mother didn't pay.
Why doesn't that surprise you?
So I paid her $5 a week, and I was so happy to do that. You know, I mean, I knew that made her happy, because $5 a week was a lot then, too.
Sure was.
So unfortunately, I didn't graduate. So I went on my merry way and stayed single for a long time. And then I met Don Ursetti
Where?
at a dance.
How old were you?
I was about 28. So we've been dancing ever since till he passed away. So, I don't
Club?
know.
You danced at the club?
Oh, well, I used to go down to Italian Center. They used to have dances every Thursday. Phil used to play. And, I had fun. I love to dance. Till this, I can't now because I'm old and my legs are bad. But I love to dance. So, and that's how I met my husband, dancing.
When were you married?
Oh, dear, good question. Let me think here.
1950.
50, I think 50, was it 51? I was going to say 51. Okay, 50. I was born in 1950. I mean, born. I got married in 1950. Had 3 children, Jerry, Donald, and Dennis. No girls, unfortunately. So I had a good life. I have no complaints whatsoever.
Did you work? Where'd you work?
Where'd I work?
Yeah.
I worked at Fire. I just said that,
Yeah,
didn't
but
I?
where else?
I steal products for a little bit.
When you grew up, where'd you work?
Oh, St. Thomas Hospital in the kitchen.
And?
She knows more about my life than I do.
Montgomery Ward, Pennies?
Oh, catalog, right.
She worked.
I worked at Penny's in the catalog. Then I went to Ward's and worked in catalog. See, they know more about my life than I do.
She forgets.
Well,
I
she's pretty
am.
good.
I'm getting old. I
That's
forget.
okay. No, she worked there a
Got
long
good
time.
memory.
I don't have the memory like she does.
Good.
How did you learn
Well,
to?
I have to add about Hilda had
Wait a minute.
Go on.
Hilda had beautiful hair. She had. We admired her hair because she was the only one of 5 with curly hair in our family. We hated her, not really. No, but we admired her because she had that beautiful hair. It was so curly and just lovely. And when she was little, I used to make the,
Those curls.
turn them, put it around my finger, and she was so cute. And here she was.
Look at me now.
So one time she decided she was going to take a walk. She was only 3. Where's she going? She took off. She was headed for Archwood Avenue. And she didn't know where she was going. And I thought, where is Hilda? They were building a cellar next door, a new house. And I was so scared. And I said, oh, my God, did she fall in that? She drowned, We looked in there, and thank God she was gone. She wasn't there. Well, we finally found her. I found her walking towards Archwood Avenue on Wilbur. And she
Close
was
to
just
home.
walking there all by herself. And
That's something.
here she is today, beautiful as ever, with her brown curly hair.
How about her generosity when she took the milk money?
Oh,
Tell them that story,
oh
Hilda.
yeah. Mom,
Let her tell it.
Mom
She
had
knows the
Mom had
story.
this habit of putting her milk bottle on the floor. On the porch, so the milkman would leave. But in the meantime, this one morning she put $20 under the bottle to get the milk. And oh man, I don't hate to talk about this, like stealing from your mother. Well, I just being a kid, I said, man, that $20 looks awfully good. So I gathered a few of the kids in the neighborhood, and down we went to the corner and bought candy and anything they wanted. Oh, I was really being generous with Mom's money. Oh, that was a riot.
That lady called Mama,
Oh, Miss Simich.
She didn't call her. She
went to visit her.
She went to visit and said, you know what your daughter just did? Well, I don't know if I got a spanking or not. I don't remember.
I don't think Mama ever hit
But
us.
she lost $20 was a lot of money for her.
Well, you didn't spend it all. I think you had $1 left.
Oh, thanks a lot, $1.
Well, no, I mean, I remember that so well. You had $1 left.
$1 left
Did you
out of
remember
20.
how did Mom get the truth out of us? I remember. She lined us all up and had a Bible
I
to
didn't
tell
remember
the
that.
truth.
I don't
And then
remember
when it
that.
got to
I
her,
was too little. What'd she say?
well, then she admitted she took
I had
it.
to, hey,
Oh, you told
You
the
went one
truth?
at a
swear
time.
on the Bible, you better tell the truth.
With the, no, she had the cross, touch the cross.
Yeah, 'cause I
it was
don't
the
think we
cross,
had-
not the Bible. Touch the cross.
Oh, the cross.
And so when it got to you, you
So,
chickened out.
I
You said, "I took it."
wasn't going to lie.
No,
Oh, that was a terrible thing to
You
do.
didn't get whipped. I don't remember you
Stole
getting
But I was a
$20.
kid. $20 is like $1 million to me.
No kidding. Candy, no less.
How much did you spend?
I don't
Oh,
remember.
okay.
I-
19.
$19.
If there was $1 left, that's what I spent.
$1 left. I remember that really well.
Then I spent $19 on candy or whatever the kids wanted.
I know. I remember
Yeah,
that.
being generous with somebody else's money.
Okay.
Your turn.
Next.
All right.
Oh.
Now it's Aunt Irene's turn.
And Irene's turn. Well, Aunt Irene was born. I was born exactly 1 year apart from my sister Lucy. I like to mention her name because she was also born on May the 5th, 1923. I was born May the 5th, 1924. On Wilbur Avenue again. I was 2 years old when we moved to Bertha. That's where Phil was born. Had a wonderful childhood there on Bertha Avenue. I remember all the good neighbors, all the fun we had with potato roasts across the street, the baseball games. One day we were playing baseball, and I got up to bat, and I hit that sucker, and they said, "Go on home, go on home." Thinking I was going to get a home run, I went home. I crossed the street and went home. They told me to go home. I didn't know all the rules. I remember that very vividly. And we played horseshoes. I remember playing horseshoes, potato roast across the street from Bertha. And we used to have plays in our garage. We'd make costumes out of crepe paper. Or what else would you say today? On the good ship lollipop, yeah.
He's a tap dance.
And the neighbors used to always come and visit us because we was having such a good time. And then
much
my
did
brother
they
Phil
pay?
was a nut.
How much
so-
did you charge?
I don't
penny?
remember.
Probably about a nickel.
Was it a nickel or a penny? Was it a penny?
Was the admittance charge?
And in our garage, didn't we go in our garage?
Yeah.
On Bertha? Yeah, that was fun. Then we moved. I was 12 years old when we moved to North Hill. Went to Jennings High, Jennings Junior High. I was in the 7th grade. I met my good friend Adeline, who was a friend till the day she died. And they were having tryouts for cheerleaders. I wanted to be a cheerleader so bad, but I didn't have a nice outfit. So we had an old blue winter coat that Mama made. It was real heavy.
No, I could.
And when I tried out for this cheerleaders, I have a loud voice, as everybody knows. And after Dina. No. Anyway, so when I tried out, I didn't even need a megaphone. I used my hand. Really, I didn't. And I tried out, and I got the job. But I almost fell on my ass because my skirt was tight because I didn't have enough. And when I went up to jump, I was going boom, 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 boom in the back, and I almost went down on my butt. So I got the job along with another girl who tied with me, and I had great fun doing cheerleading. Then we went up to North High School, and I went out for cheerleader there, but you called discrimination that time because they only allowed boys. Did you know that? They only allowed boys to be cheerleaders because Brother Phil was too at North High School.
Was it?
Yeah. So I didn't get to cheerlead at North High School, but that's okay. I joined an organization, and I had a lot of fun, went into office practice, and went to Wyona Club. Remember the Wyona Club where we used to dance? We did all that.
Wednesday.
Then when I was 17 years old, I got sick. I had a very serious appendicitis attack at North High School. And I walked home, and I was scared to tell my mama. I went over to Adeline's house. Then I was in such pain, she says, "You got to go tell your mother." So we did. And I had surgery. I was in the hospital for too many days. Ended up with more surgery than I needed, I suppose. And then when I had to recuperate, my brother-in-law, Joe Cocozo, carried me up the stairs to my bedroom, and I was bedridden, and I wasn't allowed to go to school for the rest of the year. I missed out on almost a whole year of school. It's called Crohn's disease today, is what I had. Anyway, so I survived, and while I was surviving, walking to the store, I met this man that Dina and Josephine knew and said, "Come on out, I want you to meet some guy." And it was Pete Sistone. I was in a red dress with pigtails in my hair. I was dark as you know what, and tall and skinny. And I met this guy with black hair and blue eyes. And that was it. He fell in love with me then, I think, but I didn't fall in love with him then. Anyway, that was it.
The rest is history.
The rest is history. We started to date, and we really had our romance through the mail when he was in the Navy for 3 years. And then we got married and had 3 kids. Maria, Joseph, and Michael. And I'm very proud of my kids. I love them dearly. I hope they know that.
They do.
And I'm still, after 25 years or more, I volunteer at St. Anthony's School. I became very active at St. Anthony's, which I've never regretted. And I'm thinking maybe this might be my last year at St. Anthony's. I'm going to start school, actually, tomorrow.
You're going for another semester.
So I'm going for 1 more year. When I turn 80, that'll be it. I think that's enough. And I have 5 blood grandchildren, and 3 steps, and I love them all. And that's the way it stands today, and I couldn't have married a better man than Pete Stone. I want you to know that. You have a good father, folks. Okay? I came from a musical family with Phil and my brother, and Lucy did some singing. And then I married into a sports family. I married into a sports family. I just wanted you to know that. And I'm proud of both of them.
Before we get carried away with our own things, I'd like to talk about Lou.
Yep.
We lost her in, what, 1995? And if I can only speak for myself, and I'm sure my sisters feel the same way I do, that she taught me so much by example and word. And when I was sick and needed somebody to care for me, she was there for me. And we all miss her, but she was special, very, very special. And we miss you, Lou.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I'm going to just carry on from there. I'm still, after all these years, miss her. She was my very dear friend. We did an awful lot together, told each other our secrets, and she was a beautiful lady. I still miss her today.
Oh, no,
She was my best friend.
One more story, and it involves Phil. Your mother told this story, and I'm going to repeat it.
This is okay.
One day, your kids were all in the kitchen, and little Phil let the 4-letter word fly.
More than once.
Yeah, all right? So, because he had a special place in his mother's heart. Anyhow, and he's still special today. And so, anyhow, his mom said, Phil! So one day, do you remember this, Phil? You were back in the kitchen again, and your mother blurted out that 4-letter word, and you said, Ma!
And she didn't say it once.
Well, now this is just the example with her children. And so,
Okay.
do you want to finish the story, Yola?
No, you go ahead. I can tell him what I'm thinking.
Well, this is on tape. I'm going to finish my
I'm
statement.
sorry about that.
So anyhow, Phil said, Ma! Well, he was shocked that his mother would say this. And what did your mother say to you? Well, how do you like it? It's all right for you to say, but if your mother says it, that's a no-no. Do you remember that?
I remember.
Okay. But she would...
But then don't you remember when she said, there's nothing wrong with that word. Just say it. I'm not going to say the word.
Oh, because you know what? Every time somebody said that word, Lucy would do it in the car, and she'd say that word, and Annie would go, she'd cover up her ears, and she'd go, oh, no, don't say that.
Just go ahead and say it. It's just a word. And
I
start
know, but I
blurting it
hated
out.
that. I hated to hear that word. And she'd do it on purpose to
She
make
did it
us
on
mad.
purpose, just to get her
Yeah.
riled up. She was a
That
doll.
was too funny.
She was a doll.
The biggest tribute to my mother was that not just you, but everybody I talk to that knows her has never really gotten over it.
No, I'm sure. She was a special
Give it to
lady.
me, Al.
And Jeff never gets here very often, so they were real happy to see us. But Syl got so emotional at the end because she had my mother's picture on the on the refrigerator.
Yeah, they
She
were
couldn't say goodbye to us.
Yeah,
She had to leave the
she
room.
gets, she doesn't say much, but
Yeah.
she feels it in here,
Still.
still. She doesn't say much, she really doesn't.
Yeah, she was shook up. That
Not
to
like
me,
Jessie.
I mean, sure, I've never gotten over my mother either, but how can you feel too bad when
No,
somebody
everybody loved
was
her.
so well loved?
She never had
she
any
was,
role.
Yeah.
I used to
I
make her
remember the Holy
laugh.
Family when she would chair certain things, and she had to get recruits. And the girls would always say, how can you say no to Lou?
Yeah, she was a type of person you couldn't say no.
Yeah.
When you were little, did it occur to you that you were Italian or Italian American, or did you just blend in with the other kids? Did that ever occur to you? Did you know that you were Italian? Was that something that you were
I never
aware
thought
of?
about
I never thought it one way or another.
Did you think about it? That you were Italian? We knew we were Italian. That was it,
Right.
as far as I'm concerned.
Because most
bothered
of
me
our
at
friends
all.
were.
Most of our friends were
That
Italian.
made a difference.
I went to school with a couple of Americans, and it was
Well, yeah,
different.
we did, but I mean...
Quote the
our
Medigons, they call it.
neighborhood.
What was it about the lifestyle that was maintained that made the Italian lifestyle special? Did you have your own grocery stores? Did you have your own?
Oh, we had our
Well,
Italian grocery. Who was it?
She would know that.
Federelli's.
The rallies over here. When we were on Bertha, who did we go to?
Where-
What Italian store did we go to when we were little on Bertha?
DeFeo's.
Oh, was
Was
Simic?
it Gerlandas? Gerlandos,
Gorlando's? Oh, yeah, Gorlando. They're on
remember?
Atwood.
Right. It was on Bertha.
Nick Gorlando.
And DeFeo's for chickens and stuff like that.
The fields
Right.
with chickens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, you know, I'm kicking that around in my brain. Yeah, I guess we didn't think about it.
I had non-Italian friends
You know,
at school.
yeah, and you just didn't think anything
Oh, I
about it. It
didn't.
wasn't a
Yeah, Mildred
question
Cobb
of
was the one that I
segregating
wondered.
these different
like
nationalities.
her.
Because
Just
like Uncle
remember their
Phil says
name.
in the song, I was born on a hill on North Hill, and think about all the different
Right.
nationalities
Right.
that were there, that blended together.
But what fascinates me about that, and the reason I asked the question is, all 7 of you Palumbos married Italian Americans.
We did,
Exactly.
you're right, which
All
is very
7.
rare.
Yes, we
And then the
did.
next generation down, very
No.
few of us married Italian Americans.
That's right.
And it didn't matter.
No, not that it matters, but I
No.
just find it kind of interesting, and you see the same patterns with all ethnic groups. The Asian,
And that's good.
The Asians come over here and they marry Asians for one generation, and then their kids marry other. I
That's
just
good. Yeah,
found that
that's
very
Well,
interesting.
you
I
know,
gotta-
Phil, in those days, I think our parents expected us to marry within our nationality. Don't you think?
Well,
Then.
they probably hoped we would.
Now it's different, but I mean, they wanted you to marry an
Yeah,
Italian.
Right.
But they never stressed it, and we
No,
just automatically
we just-
did.
we just happened to
Mom and
meet
Pop
them.
It just
never said,
happened
"No,
that
you
way."
gotta marry." Never.
No, but I think they expected it.
In our hearts, we
In
thought
their
they
hearts.
did. In our
And as
hearts.
it turned out, we all did.
And we did. It just happened, I think.
You know
that
what,
way.
can I say this? The 5 of us used to get together a lot. We'd go to card parties and it was amazing, the people that would come up to you, whether it be Hilda, Dina, Anna, me, or Lucy. Well,
Are you
you
Phil
sisters
Palumbo?
really get along, don't you? And I says, yeah, well, don't all sisters get, in other words, don't all brothers and sisters get along?
No.
In our minds, we thought everybody was like us. Wrong. Buckwheat, wrong. It didn't work that way at all. And now that I'm older, I just can't believe that there are some people
I
who
mean,
are not
within the
close
family,
to
I
their
mean.
own siblings.
No.
Well, I,
So I
told
feel
you,
very
went to
fortunate.
Florida, Irene. The
5
girl
of us.
in the pilot, not the pilot, but the
Stewardess.
They're
she
shocked.
says, "Where you girls going? Where?" I said, "We're all going to Florida for a vacation." You mean 5 of you sisters are going on vacation together? You know, she said that's an odd thing.
Like
You're
we're
going
not
to get
gonna get
together.
along.
Fathers, so.
Yeah, I said, yes, we are. I said, we get along fine, no problem.
Dad had
But she come over with the fifth of wine.
I thought we
She
champagne.
said, well, this is something that's unusual, she said. She gave us this fifth of wine. She says, I want you to enjoy this when you go to Florida, all you 5 sisters. They thought that was really unusual.
Is that the one where we went to that Mariola had this apartment in
Right,
Florida?
right.
We went to that apartment.
Myers.
We had a ball, didn't we have a ball?
Oh, wait.
But I cried, I want to go home.
Oh, she was
Pain in the ass. She wanted to go home.
she was a
I miss
pain.
my husband. I wanted
She
to go
missed
home.
I miss Pete. Oh, shut up. We all miss
She
our
missed her
husband.
Petey.
I'm not gonna she cried.
I did.
Well, one time toward the end
Just
of the
once.
Yeah, you did
Close to the
cry.
end.
Yeah, because you guys never were separated very
I used to
long.
do that to Mama. When I was little, I used to tell Mama, I was his boy Mama. Mama lived with us, you know, when Papa died. And we would talk about Italy. We'd talk about, I used to write letters for her when she had to write to Italy. She'd say in Italian, and I'd say, how do you spell it? Oh, it was a riot. Anyway, so we did that for a while. And then we got to talking about the sisters. I said, boy, Ma. I was teasing her. I used to make her. I said, you made all the girls nice and short, and they're light, they're not hairy. You made me tall and skinny
my
and dark and
God.
hairy, and I was going like this, and I pretended like I was really mad. And she used to just,
Yeah, and I'd take places to be her height right now.
she said, no, I don't do that on purpose. Anyway, she was great to have with us. She
Well,
was
you know, I remember, you know, when you're young, you look in the mirror, you look at it sideways. You're like an idiot. You know, when you're young, 60, 70, you want to be beautiful. So I told Ma, I says, Ma, how come I was born with this nose, with the bump on it? You know, I didn't like it.
Well, I gotta tell
Regina
you,
Savaci Sunazan Jawas. With that face, that's the nose that belongs to that face. That was the answer that I got from my mom, you know, and I didn't like it. You know, you look sideways and you see the bump, you
The
look
Roman
this way,
nose.
you see the bump. Well, I wanted a straight nose. I didn't say too much
Everybody
about
does.
the eye because Mama had nothing to do with the eye. That happened was one of those unfortunate things, but it just happened, you know. And she said, you almost died. You almost died. See the scar here? I said, yeah, Ma. That's okay. I don't hold this against anybody. You know?
Don't you remember when we were sitting in a bedroom, the three of us, you and me and Lucy? I hate to even. We mentioned noises, farts.
Oh, brother, oh, jeez.
He put it right in front of you, Hilda. There's a chance. He's a fart.
Oh, but I think I did that. I can't believe it.
Oh,
So I said, well, let's see what a fart. Let's see what
You
a
mentioned
fart
the word
looks
and she
like coming
cracked.
out. So I got in the dresser.
He probably thinks we're crazy.
I got on the dresser and put my butt up against the mirror to see what butt looked like. Because I could do that very easily. Oh, when I think about that.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, Lord.
Let's talk something nice.
We did the darndest things
But
when
you
we
know,
were
Phil,
kids.
she was the quiet one in the family. This one here.
Not so
She'd go to
quiet
bed real
anymore.
early at night.
Gilda.
She was quiet,
She
yeah.
worked.
Huh?
Yeah,
She
I
worked.
I had
Well,
to get
I
up.
mean, even before she worked.
Well, I was
she
not a
little.
boisterous
She was kind
person,
of
yeah.
shy. She was a real shy kid. Not me. I
Not
was
now.
a devil.
I'm not now.
You were a rebel.
What was Sunday like? What was,
Oh, fun. Fun.
Oh, I loved Sundays. Sit around the table,
Dance.
drinking wine. Papa
Play
said,
music.
take wine, that's good for you. And we'd have our spaghetti every Sunday.
Pop would put the Italian hour on, remember?
Yeah.
We danced. Ate our spaghetti.
We had a
We
lovely
had a good
time.
time.
I used to love to dance with Papa. He used to do a marzuka. You guys don't even know.
I
It's
do
a
too,
real
know
fast-
it. Yes, I do.
marzuka?
Sure
That
I
was a
do.
dance like a fast polka, like, you know, but you had a couple extra steps in. And I was a pretty good dancer with, especially these Italian dances. You know, I was the oldest one. Man, I could swing around there in Columbus Hall like an idiot. Now, these were all more modern because they're younger than I am. Now, this one, oh, they were all good dancers. Irene didn't dance too much, did you?
I was the quiet one.
I know you were the quiet one. This one here was the dancer.
Yeah.
And Dina,
And Hilda.
you're the best one. Lou didn't dance that much.
She
What
didn't
do
do
you mean?
bad.
She was a good jitterbugger.
I know, but I mean, she didn't dance as much as
She
you.
didn't go to dances like
That's
she
what I mean,
did.
like you
I didn't
did.
go to East Market Gardens like Hilda.
I thought Lou went to New York with Dottie.
She
did.
Danced a little bit.
Lou was a good dancer.
Why do you think it is that you were so close and other siblings maybe weren't?
Our parents.
Our parents, I always
Absolutely.
said, I thank my mother and father every day in my
Every
life.
day, right.
Because when I hear sisters, siblings not speak to each other, well, my mother would have kicked our ass so hard if she knew that this one wasn't speaking to that we didn't get away with that. You know, and
We
you know.
never did that.
It was due to our
And you know
upbringing.
what I always tell I tell my grandkids, you know, Mom, my mother my parents didn't bounce us on our knee and say, I love you. Now, sometimes you
You
wonder
knew
if
it.
we overdo the I love you thing. I love to say I love you once in a while, but all the time, you know.
Love you.
Yeah, right. But they didn't need to. We felt their love.
That's right.
We got it. I got smacked in the head lots of time. My father gave me a couple of black eyes because he
Oh,
accidentally
yeah. I remember.
slapped me across my nose. But I did because I was coming home too late, and it got caught up with me. But anyhow,
I remember laying on
and
the couch.
he just was that kind of a
so do
guy.
I.
So,
Come on.
but anyhow, to answer your question, that's
Pardon me.
that's what it was. You know,
Jeez.
our parents wouldn't let us get away with it. That's what I always say. Don't you think so?
Yes,
Why?
I
What's
said
your
it.
reason?
I said it.
Yeah.
That's it. Our parents, our upbringing. That's all. That's it.
That's what it's about.
Well, now I forgot what I was going to say.
You were on the couch. You slept a lot on the couch.
Yeah,
'cause
well,
you
I
worked.
woke up at 5 o'clock in the
father's very
morning.
strict.
And worked
Mom
till 6.
wasn't
I was
strict.
tired.
Right.
My
But
dad
I remember
was.
Pa's
Ooh,
just so,
we were scared
so
of my
sweetly
dad, I
say,
was.
Papa, go
Well, he was
to bed."
harder on the older ones, you know.
Remember that?
Because that
He
was
said
his
that with
way,
such
you know,
love
the
in his
Italian way,
voice.
you gotta
He did.
Why, you know, walk that
Well,
chalk
that's-
line, boy, no.
Well, that's
No
what I.
fooling around,
Well,
yeah.
that's what I told why he asked for forgiveness, because he knew he was too strict.
The three of us, you and me and Nick.
Yeah, we had it harder than the rest of them.
Yeah, because they got away with murder.
Oh,
Especially
they really
that
didn't
one.
get away.
Especially
Well,
this one, no.
You guys got the worst of it, then I got
I'm
away.
just
I got
teasing.
away easy.
Well,
though.
that's
Because
unimportant.
I used to go dancing a lot, and I'd come home 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I could still remember. Can you imagine you doing that or anybody else? I was dating Don, or Al, no, that guy from Canton.
Youngstown.
Yeah, no, Canton. Art.
That's right.
Walked me up to the door, and we're kissing goodnight, and up comes my father, looked at us, went right into the house, never said one word.
Before.
I got away with murder, I'll tell you.
That's how he changed. Why he changed?
Well, can you remember, and Anna, can you remember when you first brought Neil to meet your parents? And Dina, can you remember when you brought Joe? And Hilda, can you remember
Oh,
when you
yeah.
brought Don? And can you remember when you brought
They
Pete?
didn't like him. They didn't like the Calabrese.
Oh.
He was a Calabrese hardhead, you know, an Italian. If you come from Calabria, you're stubborn and all that, you know. But he was a neighbor. We were neighbors. He was Nick's friend. And then
They were
got-
buddies.
he was Nick's friend first. Then he went to 3C, started writing me letters. And
What's 3Cs?
Camping.
Government.
Oh, the
uh,
conservation.
Yeah.
Conservation.
Yeah, that's what got
Three
Neil went.
Cs.
Okay.
I think they should have it today,
I thought about the same thing.
Nick never did go to that one, but Neil
because
did.
Mom and Pop wouldn't let him.
Do you
Well,
remember?
not only that, because they didn't have any money. He come from such a big family. I mean, Neil did.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Nick wanted to
I
go.
forgot what I was going to say.
Mom wouldn't let him. They
We'll
wouldn't
let
let
him go.
Can you remember when you brought Uncle Joe too?
Well,
To meet your
it
parents?
isn't a question I brought him, because, you know, it was a slow process. You know, he brought me home from Cleveland that day, you know, when we were there, and then
You mean to
then
get
he
his
forgot his jacket. Then he come back. Well, the one thing led to
Accidentally on
another.
purpose, he forgot
Yeah,
his jacket.
Don, well, Eddie didn't inform
Any
me.
excuse,
Introduce Don. It was just, they knew Don from picking me up, you know, and going out. I mean, he never had any interaction with my parents at all until after 3 years of dating, my father says to my mom, what's with these two? They gonna get married or what? Because I was gone with them 3.5 years. I was having a good time. Why did I want to get married? So,
But you did.
huh?
But you did.
Oh, I made a vow that I wasn't going to get married till I was 28, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to have my good time out of my system.
Hey, Phil, in our day when I was dating Neil, my dad says, you gotta get out of here by 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock? That's just the beginning of the
Evening.
evening. I don't care. I have to get up. I gotta go to work. Well, he became more lenient then, so he got to stay there towards the end. Then he got to stay till midnight. Midnight out. I gotta get up and go to work. You know, my father,
Yeah.
he said, no more, no later than 12 o'clock. You gotta go home.
I remember being
Pop-
parked in the drive.
Pop-
Oh, I'm
Poppy-
sorry.
Kicked him out of the front door. Neil, he
He
didn't want to
did.
leave.
You did.
Well,
Practically.
it's time to go home now.
I started to say, I remember when Don took me home, and we parked in the driveway on Butler,
Well, I saw you in there necking.
and we stayed there for the longest time.
And Mom
And
was
Mom and Pop
looking.
knew I was there.
She was
And
looking at
after
the
so long,
dining room
I saw the
windows.
porch light go up. In other words, get your ass in here. They wanted me to know that they knew that I was out there.
That was cool.
How about you, Anna?
Oh, well, after they introduced me to Pete, he asked me to go to Cleveland. So I asked my parents, and I thought, oh my God, I was scared to
Probably to a ball game.
no. Well, no.
How old were
To,
you then? How old were you
I
then,
was
Mary?
18.
18? Okay.
Euclid Beach.
Oh.
So we went to Euclid Beach. And I said, Pa, please can I go to, we're going to go to Euclid Beach. You know, he drove there. He's been driving since he was 15 years old. And,
that car he had.
I said, I promise you I'll be a good girl, blah, 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 you know. So he let me go. Boy, I was scared. My heart was going like this. And so we went to, and that was it. Then I said, I introduced him, and my mother wasn't too crazy about it when she had heard a story about him that wasn't true, and she believed it. And he said, don't worry about it. I'll win her over.
And boy, did he
I'll win
ever.
your mom over, and he did. And he did.
Then later
Because
on-
the story was not true. That
Sure.
was,
Yeah, but Mom was more lenient than Pop.
Mom was good.
Yeah.
Mom
My
liked-
dad was, he was
Yeah,
strict.
she was-
man, I
she was
scared
a-
of Pop.
he got along real good with
I
Mom.
never was afraid of Pop.
And then later,
Oh,
later
never
in her
was
life, she
afraid of
lived.
him.
I mean, I was
Yeah,
scared if
and,
I
uh,
come home
You
late. I
weren't
didn't
afraid
even
of
get
Pop
to
per
her.
se, but you were afraid of doing something that would hurt him. That's the way I thought about him. I don't want to do nothing to get him mad at me. I want to be the nice
With your
little girl.
father? With your dad? You're talking about your dad?
Yeah,
Oh,
Pop.
Pop.
Yeah, I always did.
Well, yeah,
I always
we had a
wanted to
little
please.
fear.
I wanted to please
Oh,
him.
yeah.
We had that little bit of fear.
Oh
I
yeah.
wasn't scared of Ma at all.
You weren't scared of anybody.
Oh, come on, I was scared of Pop.
Oh, were you?
I am
I
scared of
wasn't
my
afraid
dad.
of him.
Huh?
I wasn't afraid of Pop.
Well,
He
boy,
was a-
I was. If we come in late, he'd kill you.
No, he
saw-
did not.
Well, you guys never got, Papa never hit you guys, but I got it.
Oh, come on. Now, let's not get into that.
No, but I mean, they never got hit. Pa never hit them.
Oh, he modernized.
We got this.
Okay.
Oh,
We got-
that.
Can I tell a story that has
Yeah.
nothing to do with Pop or all the date and stuff? That's growing up. I share the sign of the times, okay? To show you two stories I got to share. We talked about Cabata Dominic Santaferraro. He lived across the street from us. And this was during the Depression. True story. And Mom had gone across the street to talk to Kamada Delina. And so she was talking to her, and in the process, she told Kamada Delina that she was making sauce, but she didn't have money for meatballs. And because I think Firestone went on strike for a while. And so she stayed there and visited with her. And so when Mama went home, she went to stir the sauce, and lo and behold,
Meatballs.
there was meatballs in there. And on the porch was a 20-pound, they used to sell 20-pound boxes of spaghetti. And here was a 20-pound box of spaghetti on the porch, and when she stirred the sauce, they had meatballs. Now, I have to tell you this. I told that story at Cooney. You remember Cooney and Jimmy? Well, Cooney had his 50th wedding anniversary, so they said, well, anybody want to share any stories? So, Big Mouth and Dina, I told this story about their father. It was his father. And everybody was crying. His grandkids were behind me. Oh, that's such a beautiful story. And they're crying. That's one story. Then another one I want to tell
I don't
you.
understand who put the meat in, who got him
Cabata
the
Dominic.
Cabata Dominic.
He
Oh.
was a good
I don't know
cook.
how he made the
That was
meatballs.
Hilla's godfather.
Oh.
They lived across the street from us.
Okay.
And how he made these meatballs without Mom knowing it, I'll never know. And I don't remember this. I just remember my mother telling us this story. Now, the other story is this. We lost this house on Bertha Avenue. We lost it. And so, because Pop couldn't make the payments, because we paid to have it moved up and do the cellar. So I don't know how much he owed, like $3,500. It was a very small amount. Couldn't make any payments. So we lost it. So in the meantime, my mother went to my friend Connie Capozzoli. They lived on Oxford Avenue. And she had gone to see her friend, and she was crying. We didn't know what we were going to do. So under my ear, her dear friend from Italy said to my
Maid of
mother,
honor.
huh?
Her maid of honor.
maid of
Right. She said, come on, now you come with me. So here's these two gals walk from Oxford Avenue all the way to North Main Street to, what the heck was the realtor's name? Julius Razza.
Razza.
She says, "If you come with me, well, let's go see Julius Razza." So they walk into Razza's office, and Anna Maria said, "You got any houses for sale on North the Hill?" And he says, "You know, as a matter of fact, I do. I just listed this house on Butler Avenue. This lady died, and their family's selling it for $2,850. And so-
Three-story house.
Mama says,
Then.
and you had to have $200 down.
Oh, jeez.
And Mama was crying. Where are we going to get $200? So Ralph Capozzoli, this woman's husband, went around. He donated $100 of his money and collected money from other people to come up with $200 and gave it to my dad
For a down payment.
for
on
a
that
down
house.
payment on it. Now my father, and just a handshake, no writing down, I owe you, you know. He paid that, maybe he paid it back $10 at a time,
But he can't
or
pay
whatever.
back.
But he paid back that $200. Now those
He was a proud man.
$2,850 for that house. Imagine.
Yeah. And then he was able to buy that lot next door for
You're right.
$400.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
And then, isn't that wonderful? Those are great stories.
I've got that. Have any of you been back to Gingano
We all have.
together?
Yes, we all went
in
back.
1975.
We all went back thanks to Joe Mariola.
Yeah, 1975.
Your grandpa. We were all we were all over at my brother's club.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
Remember, it was your anniversary we were
That's
celebrating.
right.
And Joe Mariola stood and made the announcement. This was like, your anniversary's in August, right? He told us all to start getting our passports. We're all going to Italy, October what?
16th, I think.
So,
I think it was the 16th.
well, she had her
Doesn't matter.
passport. I had to get one. Anyhow, make a long
all
story
did.
short, so Joe Mariola took us to Italy. Oh,
Round
that was a
trip,
ball.
He paid for it all. He was
Yeah.
something else there.
Yeah, bought us all an umbrella. Remember, we were going to that
Oh.
restaurant. It was raining like hell.
He bought us all umbrellas.
And your father had
scarves.
hemorrhoids on this trip, Phil. Oh, he was using them. What is it? What is the medication?
Preparation
Oh, he was poor Joe was in misery. Oh, well, it was a trip never to be forgotten. I tell you.
I have
But
films.
didn't we lose Neil on that trip?
Yes, we did.
Well, he was sick.
He lost
should-
us.
We lost him.
Well, he didn't come with us because he couldn't. He had a
He was
bad
in a
heart.
beer joint.
He was in a joint.
Having his beer, huh?
Lost
Who
him
else
in
was
the-
with him? Phil?
No, no.
I
We
know
went
that
looking
Phil.
for him. Joe
Oh,
Mariola.
Joe Mariola
found him
found
in
him.
the bar.
Yeah, but
He
Neil
was standing out in the rain.
And
No, just Neil, Ann.
it was just. And he was in Venice.
You left him out. You left him against the building, and you said, "Wait for us." We were going into this old castle, and he didn't want to come in. He didn't feel good. He said, "Well,
We
wait
had to
here."
walk
Well,
too much. That's
when
why.
we came, he didn't feel good. We come out, he's gone.
So we went in the bar, and then we went to
Oh, him
go
there
sit
he
down.
was.
We get out of the rain, and there was Neil waiting outside the bar. He was soaked to the gills.
So to answer your question, we got to see the church where our parents were married.
Yeah, it
So
was
when he
nice.
didn't die, he got
And the
pneumonia,
house.
remember?
Yeah.
And the house where Mama lived. And you were born. You saw the bed where
I
you were
sat
born
on the
in.
bed I was born in, and you were born in that bed too. That house is still there.
And Pete got lost in Jungano.
Yep, he got lost in June.
Irene, where are you?
How can you get lost in Jungana?
Well,
Yeah,
people were talking and grabbing us, and he was left behind. And we got so far ahead.
why did he get
couldn't
by-
find us?
He watched that woman with the donkey.
Yeah, he was
He was
interested in the
fascinated
woman
by
who
the
was
jackass.
carrying this thing on her head. And he lost us, and then there was a barn. He went into this barn, and there were animals underneath his house. Hee-haw, hee-haw, and he said, Irene! Where are you?" Well, then he heard a bunch of noise, and he just followed the noise, and that was the big house where my mom lived.
Did you meet relatives there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, 'cause, of course you have to say, well, they were very. We only spent one day with them, and we took them. We took them all to this restaurant,
Yeah.
and of course we had pasta. The worst steak you ever ate was tough as a. They thought they
don't
were
worry
doing.
about
Of
steak
course,
in a
we
small
paid
town.
for the dinner and all that. That's not the point, but that steak.
Tough.
It's like rubber.
Oh, it was over.
Well, they don't have good
And then
steaks.
Phil got drunk as a skunk. Remember,
Oh,
going
God.
home on this train. Now we were leaving
Oh.
High Street, and we were going back to and
Didn't he have a bottle or a gallon of
Oh, yeah.
wine with
Oh,
him?
yeah.
oh, you mean
More
I was going through
When
customs?
we were on the bus.
Oh, that was another story.
Oh,
yeah.
dear me.
Yeah. Oh, but when he went through customs, my uncle gave him 2 bottles of, and I was right behind Phil, so I know this is true. He has these 2 bottles of wine. Now you're not allowed to bring wine from a foreign country, right?
You're a limited amount. I think.
Right. So he has these 2 bottles of wine, and the guy said, "What are you doing with that wine?" He said, "Well, look, sir, my uncle gave me these from we went to visit." And he said, "Well, I don't see any wine," and he let him through.
Oh, wasn't that nice?
It was a great trip. It was really a great trip. It was just fun.
Yeah, we had it was
It was
very
an experience.
nostalgic, sure. Well, Anna's been there 3 times. I only went once, but oh, cute story. The first night we were there, remember, you guys? We were in
She had a
Florence.
memory more than we do.
We were in
That's why she's
Florence. Now
talking,
we're
we're
going.
not.
We're all walking to the piazza. So the women were in the front, and our husbands were behind us. Now we're walking along, and here comes these cute little soldiers with the cute little hats.
I remember.
Remember that, Hilda? So they're talking to us in English. You know, the kids, they talk pretty good English, you know. So they thought we were, you know, just tourists from America. So then as we're getting closer to the light,
They saw that we
this
were.
one soldier said to the other one, Ma, che ste vemina è vecchia, which
These women are
You know
all
what that means?
said in Italian.
so she said in Italian, you remember when you turn around and you look, hey, io capisci, you remember?
I said, I understand what you're saying. Don't say anything.
That's a true story. These ladies are old, and
Oh, I
shoot,
did.
I was only in my 50s, and so were you. I wasn't old.
Well, they thought you was. They thought from the back we looked like maybe we was in our
Yeah.
30s. And they saw the faces. Hey, these are old bags.
Well, you know, we take a lot of things for granted in our lifestyle today. Tell us your memories of getting the first radio in your house.
Oh, Bertha.
Oh, God, we all
First
get
radio?
Nick and his crystal set.
Crystal set. But our first one was, if
RCA.
anybody has ever seen the Waltons, any of the Walton scenes, well, there's a scene where Dad comes up with the truck and he's pulling this radio out, a majestic radio.
That's what it was.
And it looks just like the one we had. Every time I see that
That's right,
scene, I think of it. Puts it in. We had this little living room. That's our first was a
I
majestic
first
radio.
remembered Nick's crystal set. Really, that's
Oh
really
yeah,
where you heard
but that was that was
before
upstairs.
even they got the radio. That's the first time we heard these waves coming
yeah.
through the wires.
When would you listen? In the evening after
Evening.
supper?
Yeah, because there
Yeah,
was nothing
mostly.
on during
Oh,
the
yeah.
day. There wasn't anything
Yeah,
on during the day. I think 7 o'clock. Fibber begin, Molly. Rudy Valley, which
Rudy
which
Valley, oh,
Neil
yeah.
always had to go here.
I don't even remember.
But Fibber McGee and Molly were on at 7 o'clock.
Oh.
No.
Did
Yeah,
you
but-
listen to Amos and Andy?
Amos and
Yes.
Andy.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Nick always laying on the floor.
Yeah.
We'd
That's
all lay
funny.
on the floor because we didn't have enough chairs for everybody. Let's face it.
Did you listen to Franklin Roosevelt?
Oh, God,
okay,
yes.
told you,
My
yeah.
dad would.
Oh, are you
Fireside chat.
kidding?
We had to.
My dad had his ear. He
Well,
was
this
always
on
like
Butler.
this.
This was on Butler Avenue, though, not over here. But we got our radio when we were here
On Bertha.
on Bertha.
We had a radio on Bertha.
That's what I said.
Well, yeah, Roosevelt
We
was
had
in
the
office
crystal
then
set.
in 1932.
That's when the damn lightning
Yeah.
struck the tree.
That's right.
And hit me and the meter and everything
I had
else.
the firelight.
That was terrible.
Twice we got struck. Twice.
It just shattered our meter, the electric meter. The lightning hit and followed that line, you know, the crystal set line, right into the house where Nick had his crystal set. Oh.
Yeah, you know, we're old. When you think back, you go pretty far back. We've seen a lot in our generation. We really have.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. When I went to my 60th class reunion, never thought about it. John and Fioka made this comment. Our generation has seen the biggest changes in the
It's
world.
true.
Man on the moon. We lived through the Depression, number one. World War II. Saw a man land on the moon.
Television.
Television
TV.
came into being. You never think about it. How much
CD,
we
look at all
saw.
these
So
electronics.
what's going to happen the next 25 years? What we're gonna
They said
see?
you ain't seen nothing yet.
Did you think you would ever make it to be 80 years old?
No.
Never.
Not with our history.
None of us, because of our history.
Well, we're-
But you know, Phil,
We're
what
all
I
in our
remember.
80s now.
That I'll
I'm in
never
my
forget
70s,
this.
excuse
in
me.
Rome. Remember?
I'm
the
79.
toilet.
I'm sorry
on the
about
floor?
that.
Well, I
Next
just
May,
turned 70.
I'll never forget that.
That's right.
Well, to answer your
Rome.
question, I never thought.
They had this big
Yeah, we
grate
outlived most
out
of our
there.
parents.
When you went to
I had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, the
real
whole.
bad.
Oh, yeah, I know.
They had
that.
this grate on the floor.
Yeah.
So I said to this lady, she spoke Italian. I said, "Sento stallo gabinetto." Where's
Yeah.
the cabinet? That's what they call it. I do stallo gabinetto. She said, la, la, la. Well, I went in and la, la, la.
Would you find?
I do sta. Here was this great big round circle. I said, what if you had to go poop? What are you going to do then?
You do the same
It
thing.
was just this big grate. I said,
Can you imagine?
oh my God, what am I going to do? I really had to go bad. I had to pee. So I said, what are you going to do? That lady says, oh, la, la, going in there. I was the only one in there.
So I looked around, I says, what am I gonna do? Pulled down the old pans and peed in the grate.
Well, don't they have those over in Europe, all over Europe?
In France, they
That
call
France?
it.
I thought that was terrible.
They call it a la tour.
Yeah, so much for a guy,
like
but
the
not
Turks.
for when you gotta
Yeah.
squat.
See, same thing in France. Then those
In France
They
too?
You don't
have
see
them.
much of it anymore, but you still
No.
see it once in a while.
Yeah, way back then.
Just a hole in the
absolutely.
ground, and you just squat down and go.
Oh, man.
And their toilet paper is horrendous.
Oh, jeez.
They had pieces, little
Get
pieces of wood in
rich.
it. You could see. We saved it. I wonder if I still have it.
What?
So toilet paper.
Oh, they're
How rough.
stingy with it.
Oh, and stingy. And matches. Oh, if you had matches, you had gold. Really. There was short of matches in Italy.
Only salt and matches.
And salt, that's right. It was interesting. It was very interesting. You could go on and on. It would take too long.
Did either of your parents ever drive a car?
Papa.
My dad did.
Till he had his heart got so bad he couldn't drive anymore. Mama never did. Nick learned to drive. And then as we got older,
All of us drove.
when we had a car, we had an old Model T. We had one with a rumble seat. Remember, Anna?
Oh,
That was
yeah.
Nick's car.
Nick's
I know
car?
the rumble seat. Yay!
She
Me
had a
and
rumble
Connie.
seat. They had a rumble seat.
I remember.
The old Model T, I remember Pa driving a Model T.
Then we went to Model A after the tea.
Yeah, then we went to Model
And
A.
my brother Nick would take us to Warner's Landing to go swimming.
Yep.
And the Palumbo kids never went any place alone. Everybody brought a friend, right?
That's right.
So one time there was 13 kids. I swear, there was 13 kids in this Model A, and Nick was
Oh,
driving.
you got it. I never remember.
We were sitting on each other's laps.
But I don't remember
Green one?
13.
13 kids?
We had to go up the hill, and I remember Nick saying some of us had to get out because the car would not make the hill, and to get to, we were going to Warner's Landing. And I remember that maybe there was 10. There was a lot of
There wasn't no
kids.
13. Couldn't possibly have fit 13 kids in that car, you know.
We
1,
were
2,
s-
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Well, all right, whatever. All right. But I know,
No,
I thought it was.
Is that the one that
It's a lot of kids.
he painted "Respect Old Age"?
Oh, that
on
was
his
another
old
car.
Model. he wrote it. He printed it on there. "Respect Old Age," that old car. And everybody look at us. And I remember when Jean got married next door. Nick says, "Well, you going for a ride? Come on, get in." They put her in there where it said "Respect Old Age," and there she was in her bridal outfit and everything. But she was mad as a hornet. She didn't know she was going to go for a ride in that car.
Hey, Dina, remember the car Pete had with the fringes around the windows? What'd you call it?
Looked like a
A
whorehouse.
whorehouse on wheels. He picked
had
me
little
up with
fringes
his
around the
car
back
and
of it.
had fringes all around the car. I said, what are you doing? She called it a whorehouse on wheels. No.
No, I knew it was.
Did your mother teach you to cook?
Oh, she wanted
She
us to
wanted,
learn
we
how
all
to
walked
cook.
away. We wanted to go out and
My
do our
father-
thing.
And he also wanted to teach us Italian, remember?
Yeah, I walked away from that too.
Dummy us. We just wanted to go out and play.
All we wanted
He
to do
had
was go
books.
out with our friends.
Well, yeah, because that's one thing we told Mama when I got married. Boy, Ma, you know, really, with all these kids, you know, she didn't really. You know why? In all fairness to Mom, when the kitchen was small,
Oh, was it?
but
Very.
we did our chores though. We would help her. We would peel the potato. I mean, well, we did all the dishes, but she did the laundry, she washed the clothes, and she cooked. We
Right.
cleaned the house, we did the ironing,
We did the ironing.
and all the other
We
stuff.
used to do it by hand.
I hated iron.
On the washboard, I did.
No,
Mama let
I'm
me
sorry
do-
that we didn't learn
Mama
more.
let me do the colored clothes, not the white stuff. Wash the kids' clothes. on the
Oh, yeah,
washboard.
that's
But
another
she
story.
wouldn't let me do it with the white clothes.
What, didn't she
figured
put
she
that
was
in a
fussy.
big? Didn't she put that in a big tub?
Tub, yes, she did.
With
She
some
boiled it.
blue ink
She
or
boiled
something.
Oh, she had the boiler. We boiled the doggone water outside. She
Right.
made the fire and put the boiler full of water, that copper inside.
Well, that's the only way they can heat the water.
Yeah, I mean that was the only way to heat the water. That's why we couldn't do it on the stove in the house.
Made tomato paste and had it outside to dry.
Oh
All
yeah.
those things. Canned all the veggies and fruits.
While we
them.
washed all the bottles.
Right. Yeah, we did.
Did you help your dad make wine?
Oh, yeah.
No, we never
I
did.
never did.
Yeah.
No.
I used to go down and look, but not.
Oh,
we
he
never
was
made
very
it.
generous. When Pop used to go get the wine, well, we used to wait for him to come with all this muscada, the big white grapes, you know. And he never would yell at us. We would go down there and take those grapes and eat dirt and all, you know. He never would say, "Hey, don't eat the grapes. I gotta make a Well, he let us eat our fill.
White or Muscata?
The white, the muscat.
La
Yeah,
Muscata,
those
I
are the
forget
good
that
grapes.
name.
And the Zinfandel.
Is that right?
That would
That was the red rock.
yeah, that would give it a little bit of color.
We have
Hey, we
Pop's
used to pay a
wine
bucket,
press
They used to
for
have it.
30 pounds of
We
grapes.
used it
I remember
for
that.
years. No, we can't use it
Yeah.
anymore. 'Cause we
How
don't have
much?
wine anymore.
You know, Phil, was $1 a box.
Oh, my.
Those, I think they had about 30 pounds. Well, we paid $1 a box. My dad would go down there on Mill Street. You know where they all come in there, all the boxes? $1 boxes of grapes.
Well, that was like in
Make the wine.
1932, 33.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't care how poor we were. We always made
We
wine.
always, we were
We had
well
wine.
fed.
We
And
never
bread,
thought
yeah.
We
we
never
had-
went- we
Always had
never-
bread.
We didn't know we were poor.
We never
No,
went
never heard
hungry,
that.
ever.
We never heard that word poor.
We never used that.
As
We
I
didn't know we
remember
were poor.
eating a peanut butter sandwich. Remember when I choked?
Oh, well, you choke on everything. She's
I snuck in, Mom, just baked bread. It was nice and hot.
Oh,
And I snuck the first piece and put butter on it. And I didn't want her to catch me, so I went around the side of the house. And I'm eating as fast as I can so I wouldn't be caught. And
Well, with the butter on it?
butter and all, when I went to swallow,
got
it
caught.
got stuck here. I don't know who came around and smacked me.
Smacked you on the
I would choked to death.
That's why I think you have the fear of choking.
I'm sure that's from that. Yes, because that was a terrible feeling, not being able to breathe.
That taught you never to steal our bread.
Snake in the food?
You learned a lesson from that.
Talk about how poor we were. I share these things with my grandkids, and they like, you know what our breakfast was? She didn't.
I know.
Get out of here.
You know, they know what our breakfast
I
was.
know.
Now we were poor, so milk was 10 cents a quart. Okay, so Mama would get a quart of milk. That every morning before you went to school, we would have a big pan on the stove, and it was a coal stove then too. Put the quart of water in, of milk, and then a quart of water. That makes a half a gallon, right?
And a quart of milk.
And then we would take homemade bread and break it up in little pieces in a dish. Then we didn't have bowls then. It was just a pasta dish maybe. And then in this milk we would put cocoa and sugar. That was like hot chocolate, right? Then we would pour this over our bread. And that was our breakfast.
Nothing wrong with that.
We survived.
Yeah.
You must have thought you died and went to heaven when you moved over to Butler.
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody have a bed where you didn't have to. You still had to share some
We
bedrooms.
still shared
Yeah.
bed. Oh, absolutely. We still
Three,
shared bed.
about three in one bed.
Except we did had an attic. Phil ended up in the attic, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Is that where you would practice his instrument?
No, Mom would shove him down the cool cellar. Remember?
Oh, yeah, a lot of
When
times.
when he wanted to take the lessons, and he would practice all the time. I remember Mom saying, "Oh, she'd go downstairs, shut in the
penance.
cool
It was a
cellar, and shut the
penance,
door."
But look what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What we got.
that was his livelihood.
And then when Phil saw Frankenstein, he was scared to death. He was chicken poop, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
So
Who tapped the wine
we all
barrel?
slept in
Who
that.
tapped the wine barrel?
Phil was sleeping in the little bedroom then. And all of us girls, when Anna was living with us, we all had to sleep upstairs.
I remember.
So Phil had the little room, and he was afraid. So pretty soon, he comes upstairs and sleeps with us because he was afraid to be because he was scared.
You know what was fun? Sometimes my dad and my mom, she had fruit where we wrapped in newspapers. You done? It don't matter. Wrapped it in papers, and we go sleep upstairs, and boy, there was nothing but cores all over the place. We ate a lot of fruit up in the
I
attic.
sure did. I
Remember those,
I
Anna?
remember packing the
Yeah.
pears
Yeah.
in newspaper.
Yeah.
So it would keep, I guess. We
Yeah,
left it
so
up
they
in
would
the attic.
ripen.
because it
Yeah.
was cold.
They were probably green.
But we ate
How
it.
many
It
hours
worked.
did we do?